Imagine quitting the grind of oil and gas so you can drive around Houston all day with other people's dogs riding shotgun. In the final season of Cruise Through HTX, I'm hanging out with powerhouse pet owner Ron Velez, the man behind Doobie Dogs, Houston's rideshare for dogs. We talk about the three-dog circus he and his wife run at home, how his late dad talked him into chasing an idea everyone else called dumb, and why we'd both trust the sketchiest stray pit bull more than the chillest house cat. Three dogs.
Three dogs.
Multiple businesses between you and your wife, Maritza. You got Shaggy, you got Bella, you got Mimi.
Yep.
And how do the three of them work into the chaos that is Doobie Dogs and life in general?
They run the house. It's their house. We're just tenants. We're tenants. We pay rent. We buy their food.
Yeah.
We walk them. They enjoy it, so they tell us what they want.
How much do you pay in cheese tax? Cheese tax. That's my favorite tax. I don't know if you know that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Talk a little bit about where they fit, because you're an entrepreneur. It's essentially rideshare, but for dogs.
Right.
And so you're not busy. And so how does life fit around these three pooches?
My job is to walk them every morning.
Yeah.
I feed them in the morning. I leave to go to work. One of us comes home during the day, lets them out. But Maritza had a poodle for 17 years when I met her. And,
what a good run.
Yeah. And so, we had to put him down, I guess, in about 2016, and that was a tough decision. No, not 16, 2019. And then when COVID hit, she said she wanted another dog, and we all know what happened then. People were adopting dogs like crazy, and it was a tough thing to do. We had a client from one of our cleaning businesses. She was working at a shelter, and we called her and told her what we were looking for, and she called us and said, 2 weeks later, said, get over here. And that's when we got Mimi. We got her in September of 2020, and then we got Shaggy in December of 2020. Shaggy's about 60 pounds, Mimi's about 9. And then a few years later, one of our clients was fostering another Maltipoo like Mimi, and that's Bella, and we got her. So it's very funny, and it's interesting to see how Maritza has evolved with this, because she was a one dog person.
Oh.
And so when we started bringing multiple dogs, and I was nervous about that, but she was very warm about it.
You got a small zoo now.
Yeah. I was telling her about I'd like to take a lizard next, but she said no. So
a lizard? Talk about that.
Oh, I don't know. I've just been interested in lizards, like chameleons and things.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. And in fact, I watched one on Instagram. I mean, it's a beautiful iguana, and it's multiple colors, and he climbs up the guy's leg and up his pants leg, and the guy feeds him strawberries and fruit and everything. But no, this is I've always been a dog person. I haven't had a lot of dogs in my life, and I did a lot of traveling for work between Louisiana and Texas, and so that wasn't a good time. And when Maritza and I settled, and her dog, he didn't like me much. He was a one owner person.
Oh yeah.
So I got the raw end of that.
Yeah.
Got bit every morning, and
they get territorial, especially the male to female.
Yes, a whole lot. So Shaggy's a male, and then Mimi and Bella are both girls.
Is it like that with the girls and with Maritza? Like, are they like that, protective of you?
I think they spend more time with me because I spend more time with them.
Okay.
Like Shaggy knows when Maritza comes home that he's going for a walk at nighttime. She's going to take him for a walk, because by then I've already walked him twice in the day, and it's like I'm done. And so she knows that I need that break sometimes. So.
You talked about traveling between Louisiana and Texas, and this is how you and I met. Mm-hmm. You used to work in oil and gas.
Yes.
And so driving a pet taxi, which is the coolest business. You get to be in the car all day with dogs.
Yeah, best clients.
Best clients ever, because they think you're awesome no matter what.
They don't complain about anything, man. All they complain about is you put your hand down there and get another treat, Ron.
Right, yeah, exactly. So what gave you the idea to do that?
We have two cleaning companies, and one of them does some Airbnb houses. And we had an Airbnb house in the Heights that we cleaned all the time. In about 4 years' time, We cleaned it 385 times, I think. And it was around the corner from a doggy daycare. And I was passing up there, and I didn't actually know much about the doggy daycare because Maritz's dog never did go. And so I just kept watching at doggy daycare. And one day the light bulb went off, and I walked into daycare, and I said, "Hey, do y'all have anybody picking up dogs for y'all?" And he said, "No, that's a great idea." And so I think I asked him, I think that happened around 2019, and I thought about it, brought it to some people, and some people said, no, it was a dumb idea. Some people said yes. And the decision maker was my dad when he was living. I was in New Orleans and walking in the grocery store with him, and I told him about it. And his first question was, "What's a doggy daycare?" And I said, "Exactly." So I took him to one, showed it to him, and he said, "Man, try it." And I said, "You're the most conservative person I know. You're supposed to talk me out of this." He said, "Try it." He goes, "I think it's a good idea." And so we started from there.
That is such a cool thing for you and your dad to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And for you to have somebody that's not, "Oh, that's a dumb idea."
Right, exactly. Because I had people tell me it was a dumb idea. And I also had a friend of mine who's, high degree engineer. Mm-hmm. And when I brought it to him, I was waiting for him to tear it apart.
Yeah.
Because that's what engineers do, right?
Yeah.
And he says, "Do it, try it." He said, "Sounds like it's a good idea. We're in Houston." He said, look at the dogs in Houston. Mm-hmm. Look at the people in Houston.
We're a dog city.
We're a huge dog city.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, let me go see my parents and just see what my dad says. And I took, he worked hard all his life, and he had his own business, travel agency for about 15 years. And I watched him work it, and unfortunately he never made, back then he didn't make that much money in it. Mm-hmm. And but he was able to travel a lot. Him and my mom got to travel the world. So when I brought it to him, he said, when he said try it. In fact, he died in September of 24, and about 3 or 4 months before that, he told me, he goes, "You need to get another van." And I was like, "What?" And he says, "You need to get another van." He goes, "Try it out." Mm-hmm. And so, I wasn't ready. Mentally, I wasn't ready for that. And then this year, I bought the second van, and I have it on the road part-time. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's when things started changing for the business. People are starting to see the vans more.
Yeah.
Started getting accustomed. I got one lady that she takes pictures of the van when she's in traffic and posts it on Instagram. I don't know.
Nice.
And I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, people say, "I think you saw your van." I said, "Take a picture, send it to me." And
yeah.
So I said, you're in Houston. If you blow your horn at me, I might ignore you, or you might give you hand signals.
What has been the hardest lesson? Because when you think of having a dog business, there's we joke around about how they're the best clients because they don't ever complain.
Yeah.
And just because they're dogs doesn't mean it's going to be an easy thing to execute.
Right. Some dogs, we transport the dogs in kennels.
Yeah.
Some of them don't like kennels. Mm-hmm. So I have to sometimes pick up a 60, 75-pound dog to
pick it up, lift it up.
And I do it two ways: pick up the front end and push from the back. Using treats. Old dogs. I have a portable ramp that I set up for old dogs, and if they haven't been on a ramp, then I got to coax them into getting on or off the ramp. Mm-hmm. But other than that, most of our trips are going to daycares, right? Mm-hmm. So the dogs are very socialized already, and they don't have the problem. It's the ones that if we got to take them to the veterinary clinic or groomer that don't get in a vehicle very often. Mm-hmm. So I've got a gentleman that's got 2 older dogs, lab type dogs, and they're pretty big, and they walk really slow. So they get nervous on the ramp.
Do you think that they know the difference between going to the vet and the groomer and going to daycare? Because I kind of would assume yes.
Well, yeah, because the daycare, after the first trip to daycare, they know me that I'm taking them to someplace fun.
Because people will tell you, no, dogs only think of the present. They don't know.
No. Yesterday, I got a text message from one of my clients that it's a gated community. So when I go there, they must call them on an intercom system, the security, and says the dog taxi's here. Mm-hmm. And she's got 2 pretty big German Shepherds. Mm-hmm. And she says they start screaming when they hear the dog taxi's there. And when I pull up to their house, they are like they are almost out of control.
Ready to go.
And she texts me, she goes, hey, we had a van come yesterday, and they called us, but they never said dog taxi. She said the dogs actually never barked, never screamed.
They're actually trained
to hear the word dog taxi.
Dog taxi.
Yeah.
Over the phone.
Yes, yes. Yes, so, and then, I've got 2 dogs that I take twice a week to daycare, and Sonoma rides with me a lot, and so they're kind of rambunctious when they see me.
Yeah.
I go to the back door, and the owners sit there, wait, making them stay and wait, and as soon as the door's open, they forget everything. But yeah, it's fun because they connect me as with having fun. Except for I used to have a 165-pound Newfoundland that I would take to the veterinary clinic to get bathed. And he was not the easiest dog to convince to get inside the
And he's 165 pounds.
yeah, I mean, I'd have to take kennels out, but he did not want to get into the van. And he wasn't food motivated, and so it was like,
screw you and your dog treats.
Yeah, and it's funny, the dad is an orthopedic surgeon. He's like, don't pick the dog up, Ron, but it's like, I got to do what I got to do. So.
Right.
So yeah, he was, he looks like a bear when he's in the back there. But, yeah, so and then I've had a couple, I've worked with rescues, and those hard dogs are difficult because they don't know anything, especially if they lived on the streets. They don't know about kennels.
Yeah, if they're in the rescues, they're in a very already anxious environment.
Exactly. Yeah, high anxiety. So so I try to make most of them, once they get in the kennels, they're quiet. I got this one dog, pick him up every day. And he knows when I'm a mile to a mile and a half away from his house. And I've done different routes.
Yeah.
And he knows. Like, he starts crying, like ready to get home.
Okay.
I've been on the phone, and they said, "What's that?" I said, "That's one of my passengers. He knows we're home." And then I got a new dog that I've been picking up for a couple of months. He's a Belgian Malinois. And
how are those to work with?
She's a rescue, and she just turned 12. And I'm learning, I've told my trainer friends, I said, these dogs have one speed and one speed only.
Really?
And that dog, when I pick her up at 7 in the morning, has the same amount of energy at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh.
And it's 100%, man. And at first, she had me a little nervous, but it's just, she might put her mouth on me, but she doesn't bite. She just, and then I've started now, when I get home with her, I talk to the mom, because she's very hyper when she sees the mom. And then while I'm talking to the mom, she just lays down, and it's just amazing. Those dogs are incredible to watch, and she's going to go through some training, and the trainers love them, because I think they're very easy to train, because they want to please.
What would you say your most difficult situation working with dogs? Because again, kind of riffing on this whole notion that working with dogs it's fun, but it's also hard. It's a lot of work. You work very hard. I've known you for a few years.
Yeah.
You are never not working hard. Right. It's hard. You're literally lifting heavy dogs at times. So what is a difficult situation that you've experienced, and it could be with the dog, with the client, or whatever, a difficult experience that has taught you a really important lesson in business and life?
Well, the biggest challenge in this is traffic in Houston. The biggest challenge.
And that'll try even the strongest person.
Yes, it tries your patience. And the hardest part, the most stressful part is in the evening time, because most of the daycares close at 7. So you want to make sure, I've had several times, it's like, man, I'm never going to be able to do this. And I may have to change routes or something, and I try not to carry a dog with me more than 30 to 45 minutes, but sometimes it's happened where they've had to stay with me a little longer as I pick up other dogs. And also the biggest issue is the traffic, the most stressful part. Other than, I haven't had any really difficult dogs, not that none of them stick out to mine, because I always remember this is their world. So, people, and everybody knows this that's had dogs, it's not the dog that's aggressive, it's the way the person is. And, if a dog bites you, there's a reason that dog's biting you. It's not because he's just a mean dog.
There are no Cujos.
No.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been snapped at by a dog, nothing bad. I've had, have cuts and all.
I've got this theory about myself, and I want to know what you think about, like, how would you see this for you? I've got this theory, this belief, that I would trust the most rabid, violent, stray pit bull on an abandoned railroad yard in Houston in August than I would the most peaceful-looking feline that someone says is the sweetest cat. Yeah. So I don't know. Am I the only one that might think that?
I love other people's cats.
Have you ever had a cat?
No.
Okay.
I love other people's cats.
Uh-huh.
I'm deathly afraid of how they change personalities, I guess.
Yeah.
I have a lady that I've been working for about 3 years. Mm-hmm. Never met her. Mm-hmm. I bring the dogs into the house, and set them up. And I didn't know until this last year. I saw 2 cats in the house.
Oh.
And they were large cats.
Like Maine Coons?
Exactly.
Oh, those things are ginormous.
I said, this thing's beautiful. I said, hey, baby. And I walked up to it and hissed at me. I said, I'm done.
All right, never mind.
I'm done. And I texted her and I said, I never knew you had Maine Coon cats in this house. But I got bit by a cat when I was a little kid.
Oh.
I was about 6 years old.
Well, it's great that you're still alive.
It was a neighbor, and he had the cat tied up.
Yeah.
On about a 25-foot lead.
Oh, no.
And my mom was at his house talking to him, and the cat was just circling my legs, tying me up. I didn't know. I was just in there, and he bit me. And I'll never forget that. And I think cats are so soft and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, they got their own minds.
Yeah,
and I agree with you on that. I would trust a dog.
I mean, just get like the most rabid, vicious.
But yet the cat owners will say, oh, he's great. He's pleasant.
Little Morris, he's a sweet boy. Here.
That's true.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Mm-mm.
No, that's true, man.
Yeah, good Lord. So, cats. Maybe the dream pet might be a lizard. I have
taken cats to the vets.
Oh,
that
really?
People have asked me, because they come in their own
So it's like Doobie Dogs and cats, but they do the work because the cat's already inside the thing.
Exactly.
And then the vet, when you take them to the vet's
they do it all and they give it back to me. So, and then actually, I'll put the cat carrier inside of a kennel.
And that, my friends, is why he doesn't trust cats. That's just how much. Oh man, that's hilarious. So for people who do not know, Ron and I go way back, like years back. Yeah. And so the first iteration of Speak Podcasting would have been Freddie Cruz Creative Works. And so Ron and I were Facebook friends before we ever started a professional relationship and became friends. And then we met, and Ron was the first customer of Freddie Cruz Creative Works before I ever really knew exactly what I was going to do. And you never forget your first client. And so, Ron, it has just been so much fun getting to see what you're doing with Doobie Dogs, but also just getting to know you even more and more over the years.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you for not just believing in somebody who had no idea what the hell he was doing, one, but two, also becoming a friend.
Right.
And we're hanging out. We got to hang out a little bit beforehand, and you're working on a project, and hopefully we'll get to talk about that on a different podcast, which is the podcast about podcasting called Your Mic. So that's sort of a foreshadowing of what Ron is doing in conjunction with Doobie Dogs and all the other stuff that you and Maritza have going on. So I really appreciate you, and nothing but success for you and your family.
Thank you, man. It's been a fun ride.
Yeah.
I know when you and I met, we talked about this, and we said in a few years we'll be in the Caribbean having a few drinks. So we need to make that happen. But yeah, it's starting a business is difficult, that, but it's rewarding too. I'm rewarded by the people I meet.
Yeah.
It's not always the money that you make; it's the people that I meet, and it's try to surround myself with the positive people.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the relationships.
Yeah.
And I've got a friend of mine who's a client, and he says that the best relationships are the ones where both sides feel like they're winning.
Right. Exactly.
And that could not be more true. I mean, it's just, 110,000% right.
There's a reason everybody crossed one another's paths.
Yeah.
There's definitely a reason.
Yeah. Well, Appreciate you coming by the studio
Thank you.
and for being on the show, and much success to you.
Thank you for having me. See you next time, man.
Yeah.